Amelia Foster had never flown before. Not once in her 29 years had she left the quiet sprawl of Little Cedar, Nebraska, a town stitched together with weathered barns, cracked sidewalks, and Friday night high school football. She had grown up in a modest, single-story house with her mother, who raised her alone after Amelia's father walked out when she was 4. Life had never been easy, but it had been honest. Her mother had worked double shifts at the diner downtown, pinning her hope on Amelia's education like it was a winning lottery ticket. But life doesn't always pay out as promised. Amelia had graduated with honors, moved to Omaha, got her first job as a junior administrative assistant. It lasted 11 months. Then came a layoff, then another job, another layoff, and eventually, a string of temp gigs that blurred together. When her mother passed suddenly from a stroke 3 years ago, Amelia moved back to Little Cedar, broken, and deeply unsure if she'd ever start again. But one afternoon, she saw a job posting, Executive Communications Associate, Whitaker Airlines. It sounded impossibly out of reach. Still, something in her stirred. She updated her resume. She wrote the most honest cover letter of her life. Weeks later, she received an email. An interview. In San Francisco. She couldn't afford the ticket. But her neighbor, old Mr. Delaney, gave her $600 and said, "You've got wings, girl. Go fly." So here she was, at Gate 24A of the Midwestern International Airport. Her palms were sweaty. Her carry-on was packed with exactly 2 outfits, her resume, a pair of scuffed heels, and a worn photograph of her mother beside the cottonwood tree in their backyard. She had never been more terrified in her life. But the flight to San Francisco wasn't just about a job. It was her final chance to rejoin the world. To be someone again. To matter. The boarding call was still 20 minutes away when she noticed him. An elderly man, dressed in a slightly wrinkled suit, his thin silver hair slicked back with effort, a cane leaning beside him. He looked out of place, not because of his age, but because of the quiet weight around him. He moved like someone who had once commanded rooms and now tried to be invisible inside them. Amelia glanced away, but then she heard it. A thump. A gasp. The old man had collapsed forward on the bench, clutching his chest. His cane clattered to the floor. She didn't think. She just ran. Others turned. A few stood. But no one moved toward him. She reached him in seconds, kneeling beside him, her bag falling open. Sir, can you hear me?" His breathing was shallow, his face pale. "Chest, medication, coat pocket," he wheezed. Amelia's hands trembled as she searched through his coat. A small amber bottle. She recognized the heart medication instantly. She placed a pill under his tongue, tilted his head back slightly, and whispered, "Just breathe. Help's coming. Stay with me." The minutes stretched like lifetimes. Every second was a war between hope and dread. She heard her boarding call over the intercom. Final boarding. Gate closing. But her knees stayed rooted to the floor beside him. Paramedics arrived, finally, checking vitals, asking her questions, lifting him onto a stretcher. "You saved his life," one of them said. She only nodded, her heart pounding. She glanced up at the departure board. Her flight had left. Amelia stood still in the terminal. Her hands felt numb. Her throat burned. All she had left in the world, her chance, her job, her future, had just flown into the sky without her. She blinked back tears. "Miss Foster." A deep, calm voice. She turned. A tall man in a dark navy suit approached her. Early 40s. Polished shoes. Discreet earpiece. His badge said, "Security Liaison, Whitaker Airlines." "Yes?" she asked. "My name is Daniel Grayson. I work directly for Mr. Whitaker." She blinked. "The man the one who." He nodded. "You didn't know who he was, did you?" "No," she said softly. "I didn't care who he was. That's exactly why he wants to see you." He led her up through secure elevators, into a private lounge with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the tarmac. Inside, 2 nurses attended the old man. His jacket was off now. An oxygen line ran to his nose. But his eyes were open, alert, focused. He motioned her closer. "You stayed," he said quietly. I couldn't leave you like that," Amelia replied. "You missed your flight," he murmured. She nodded. "It was important. But, so were you." His lips curled slightly into a tired smile. "No one said that to me in years. I didn't know who you were. That's why it mattered." She didn't understand. "My name," he said slowly, "is Charles Whitaker. I built Whitaker Airlines from one propeller plane in an airfield I rented for $12 a month in 1968. I've sat across from presidents, kings, CEOs. But in the end, the most valuable thing I've seen in the skies isn't power. It's kindness. Amelia said nothing, unsure if she should even be here. I've watched people walk by me all morning, he continued. Dozens. Hundreds. Not one stopped. Not one saw me. Except you. She swallowed. I didn't think. I just knew you needed help. That instinct, he said, is worth more than all the resumes in my inbox. Silence. Then he said, I want to give you something. Not just another chance. A real one. Amelia stared at him. I want you to work with me. Personally. Start in my office. Let me train you. Mentor you. I'll fly you to San Francisco tonight, or tomorrow, or whenever you choose. You'll never have to pay for another flight as long as you live. And you'll have a place here. If you want it. Tears spilled down her cheeks before she could stop them. You don't know me, she whispered. Why would you trust me? Because when no one else did, you trusted your heart. He handed her an envelope. Inside, a first-class ticket, a letter of intent, and a business card with a direct line. She accepted them with shaking hands. That night, she didn't board a plane. Instead, she sat with Charles Whitaker until 3 a.m., listening to him recount stories from 5 decades of aviation, war, marriage, grief, and fortune. He told her about the love of his life, Eleanor, who had died 10 years ago. He cried when he spoke of her. Amelia shared stories of her mother, of the fear she lived with every day, of feeling like she had missed her moment in life. Charles simply said, you didn't miss anything. You just took the longer path. But you're here now. She began work the following week. 3 years later, Amelia Foster became Vice President of Community and Values at Whitaker Airlines. She traveled the world, sat on boards, launched charities. But more than that, she changed lives. She created programs to care for passengers with medical needs, built initiatives for first-time flyers, founded scholarships for